is your girl Stephanie. Welcome and welcome back to Quilting Beauty and Books, my corner of YouTube. I pray that you and your family are all doing well today and that you enjoyed today's video. As you guys can tell by the title, I am coming to you telling you all about the books I read for the month of February. I'm laughing because I done did this take on how many times that I kept saying March. But anyway, I'm coming to you letting you guys know what I thought about the books that I read in the month of February. And I'm going to tell you right now, there were two books that I absolutely loved without a shadow of a doubt. I am 1,000% to recommend that you guys read these books. The first one being is my buddy read with my little sis Nay over at Daughter of Increase. I'm linking her account up there. Her channel, I'm sorry. But yes, that book was so good. It was really, really good. And it was called In the Shadow of Jezebel. And the second book was the last book that I read for the month. And it was called A Time to Die by Nadine Brands. Now, I already told y'all, I already thought that that was going to be a really good book. And it was. So without further ado, let's jump into my reading vlogs for the month of February. Terri Blackstock, If I'm Found. Guys, I love this book more than I love book number one. I wasn't sure if book number one, after reading it, if I was really going to continue. I did like it. I just wasn't like, ugh, into it, you know what I mean? But after I read this book, I am into it. Miss Casey, of course, still finds herself on the run. She found herself a friend in Dylan. Well, she kind of found herself a friend in him, but she wasn't trusting him in book number one, because if you don't remember or don't know, that Dylan was the guy who is being paid to find her, to bring her to justice for the murder of her best friend Brent. Well, let me tell you. I'm gonna tell you this. Casey is nosy. She is a busybody. Now, she is on a run for her life, but she got time to go and get in somebody else's business. Sorry, I had to push this button. But yeah, so she's getting herself into somebody else's business as always, like in book number one. And this one was really, really intense because it did deal with child abuse, sexual child abuse. It also dealt with suicide. Who's this? Terri, she went in on this one, and I think that is why I connected a whole lot with this one. You know, book number one dealt with the kidnapping and all that kind of stuff, so it was really good. But this one, it was good. It had my emotions up and down, up and down. So if you want to go on that roller coaster, I suggest you pick up book number one, If I Run, and continue with the series. I look forward to reading book number 3. Now, in this book, it also deals with corrupt cops. So, yeah, it's a lot of that in there. And it's just so funny how Terri wrote this book. And there was times I'm like, look, she is making this so, like, movie ready. Because I can't see, well, my luck is not that good. Let me put it that way. I need to read up or watch some more movies to come up with a better game if I'm caught or almost caught and stuff like that. Because she's getting away just a little too much for me. But it was good. I really did enjoy it. The storylines were really nice and strong. And yeah, I definitely can see what people were talking about with this book. With this series. So on to the next book. Lightning by Bonnie S. Calhoun. Guys, now you guys already know I love book number one. Now I cannot say the exact same thing about this book. I liked it, but I have to remember who this book was written for. It was written for the young adults. I probably would say teens, because yeah, and I'm far from that. Therefore, I just can't say I love this book as much as I loved book number one. Now, Sela is now with her newfound father. She found him at the end pretty much of book number one. Now, she was raised by another guy who he is a creep, a jerk. Now, and I was trying to pinpoint what I did not like about this book. And it boils down to this, guys. Every other chapter, they were running for their lives. And the other chapters, they were being caught and escaping. So, I'm like, a whole book, nothing but that throughout the whole entire book. And I was like, I was getting exhausted, but then I was excited about it and all this kind of stuff. So if that's your thing, you're going to like this book. Now, Sela is starting to experience new things going on. She's feeling things, within, and she's coming into her powers pretty much. And one of the things that she is learning is that her powers are being controlled by her emotions. Now, as Christians, we are not supposed to live our lives by our emotions. When we do, we have our highs and we have our lows. And I'm talking from experience. So, yes, we are not to live our lives based off our emotions. We are to live our life based off the word of God. Now, because she is experiencing all these emotions, her powers are driven off of her emotions. Like if she is angry, things happen. She's learning that she's seeing, because she was freaking out. She thought something was wrong with her. She's seeing what her powers can do when she's at heightened emotions and stuff like that. Just like we can see what goes on when we allow our emotions to get out of control, right? Right. So if I put it in that, respect, I really did like the book. Bodhi is the lander that she found from book number one. And Bodhi is, coming into his feelings. He's dealing with some feelings that he's having. And then her newfound father, Glade, he's like, you better stay away from my daughter. That kind of thing. He was like, he ain't having no relationship with that, because in his mind, his sole goal right now is to keep his daughter from fracturing, which is another way of saying dying, because she's going to be diminished to pretty much a vegetable if he doesn't find out some. I still didn't get this out of the book, because it was just like really crazy to me. They need to find a third protocol and all this kind of stuff. That part of the book, I was like, listen here, I don't know what you're talking about, lady. So that part frustrated me too. But he had to get her to this particular place and all this kind of stuff, and it was good. The fighting scenes were really good in here. Like I said, they were running from one point to the next and fighting and another character. Her name is Mary coming. It was really exciting to find her out who she was. Her mom and her little brother is back in this book. Relationships develop between certain characters. The character is Cleon and Treva. Loved it. It was interesting because this month I'm reading 2 different books with characters by the name of Treva. So yeah, I mean, if this is your thing, if it sounds like your thing, you are definitely going to love this book. It is definitely high fantasy. Again, like I said, it's a lot of back and forth with being caught and running for your life. If that is your thing, I really do like it. I mean, I'm not like I like number one, but I really did like it. I like it enough. Let me put it this way. I like it enough to read book number 3, the final book in the series. So yeah, that was Lightning by Bonnie S. Calhoun. Guys, this book is so dang good. Mesu can write some villain characters. Do you hear me? I mean, when she thought of this stuff, I'm like, girl, all that darkness in your head. I even sent her a message on Instagram. I'm like, this book is good. If you need you need a release to hate somebody in your home life getting on your nerves, somebody you just want to punch and you know you just really can't punch them, read this book because you can put it all out on Queen at the Liar. Because she was one. That woman was evil, okay? Pure TD1 evil. This book follows the life of a young girl who had the dreams of becoming a high priestess. If you don't know what that is, y'all need to look it up. Because her family served false gods, okay? Well, it has been prophesied that her father was going to suffer from his actions from the only one and only Yahweh, because they turned his back on him and God's about to show judgments. And hunting, he was like, well, what I'm going to do is marry my daughter off to the high priest, and maybe, God will remove his judgment from me. Well, yeah, nah, that ain't happen. You ain't buying God off like that, okay? And his wife, Queen Athaliah, I'm telling you guys, if you are mad at somebody, you want to punch somebody, you hate what's going on around you, and you don't know how to get a release, this is the book for you. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't even tell you guys the name of the book. In the Shadow of Jezebel. Hunty. That woman made me go through some stuff, but it worried me because when I was reading it, I had to stop. I was like, Lord, do I need to pray for Mesu's mind? Because this villain she conjured up so much in this woman. I was like, Lord, you said we shouldn't hate. Oh my goodness. But Hunted, this character was so evil, but this book is so good. And my nosy stuff couldn't put it down, so I'm like, is she gonna get got? But yes, it was so good. She had a brother, the girl name is Sheba, if I didn't say so. This book, I cannot do a good review on this book because it's so much. Sheba has a brother named Hazi who's going to be next in line for king, and he don't know who he gonna serve, so he kind of in between because he's fearing the mother, his mother. She had complete reign, her mother had complete reign. And I'm like, you know what? These old trifling women, they were just so scornful and so mean. And like I said, the king, he was like, well, maybe if I marry my daughter off to the high priest, maybe got to take this judgment away from me. Well, her mother, stepmom, was like, no, she gonna be a woman of destiny and all this kind of stuff, ruling, not like rule in the sense of like a true queen, but she might doing the false god stuff and all that kind of mess, honey. It was just a hot, stinking mess, okay? I was like, oh my gracious. And she did marry the high priest, and she was like, now this man was so many more years older than her. And I like how Mesu broke it down at the end because, you know, she was like, well, she found out, you know, afterwards, like, high priest name was Jehoiada. His, I love that name. He, would have been about like 90 years old and she's in her teens. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, ugh. But, you know, back then that was a thing. And it was just so beautiful. I mean, guys, if you want a book that you just need to throw some hate into and keep it in that book and never let it out, this is the book to do it in, because you're going to, if you come out of this book talking about you love some Queen After Light, we need to talk. Because I'm going to need to pray for you, okay? But all the characters in here, King Hazi, because he did become king, his wife Zibia, Kalia, I think her name was Nathaniel. Oh, that was so cute. It was this midwife in here. She was hilarious. But Sheba herself, I was like so happy things turned for her, because who doesn't deserve to know the one true God and who he is? You know what I mean? And so, of course, I highly recommend this book. And let me tell you guys about me and highly recommending stuff, because I truly do. When I say I highly recommend it, I really, really do. And that is the good thing about everybody having thoughts and opinions of their own. I love this book, but you might not like it. You know what I mean? But, and that's the beauty of our opinions and stuff like that. I really do like this book, and I wholeheartedly recommend it to each and every one of you. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Now, you know, it's not that many books that I'm like, about. I really gotta not just really not like that book. Yeah, I know which book I was talking about from last year. But I also want to tell you guys about the Bible study I had completed, and it is The Armor of God by Priscilla Shirer. As I already told you guys in last month's wrap up, I paired this book in the beginning with Havilah Cunnington's The Stronger Than a Struggle. Powerful, okay? Powerful. This study made you face some things. It made you face some things because you had to, she's talking about, of course, the armor of God and things that you have to lay aside, and the things that you have to struggle with day in and day out, and how it's important that we must put on the armor of God. There is no way we can do it in our own strength. There is no way we can win any battle without God's help. And this book just, you know, she broke down the articles of the armor and how we're to use it to defend and offend ourselves. So, if you like these kind of Bible studies, you know, Priscilla is my girl. I'm going to wholeheartedly recommend this. Now, I can tell you, like when I did my review of this book, that some of the questions are above my head. And I'm like, what are you talking about? I had to put question marks on. And that's because I didn't get the question. But then she'll go like, this is a question, but this is not the question I'm talking about. I just didn't thumb through it or save it where I was going to go. But like, this is a question. And if I didn't understand this question, 9 times out of 10, she broke it down in the next paragraph. So she probably knew that someone might not fully understand that question. And that's why she did that. But yeah, it was a lot of good stuff in this book, and how you can set up she gave you like prayer cards and strategies, because you're gonna pray with it, learn to pray in this book, and it was really, really good. At the end, you had to fill out where is that soldier? Yeah. This soldier at the end, and you label the parts of the armor. And I really did like it. I really did enjoy this Bible study. Again, I highly recommend it. And on to the next book. As Long as I Cling by Kim Cash Tate. Guys, this book was good. 677 pages of nothing but pure TD1 goodness, okay? Oh, dang on, this book was good. Guys, I am sitting here just blown away by this book. Now, this is book number 4 in a series, so no, you can't just go pick it up thinking you're going to read it and be like, and understand everything that's going on. It's not going to work like that. You need to read the full series. She did bring some characters back from previous books, and hunty, it was good to me. The back cover, she highlights 3 different people, and so I'm going to touch on them briefly. The first one being Tommy. I love me some Tommy, okay? Tommy is a man who has been married twice, and now he is he's committed to being single. He doesn't want a relationship. He wants friendships, and he just don't ever see himself marrying again. And one day, they all go to the same church, Living Word, and they were listening to the pastor talk, and he did a series or a sermon on clinging. And from there, Tommy got to thinking. Now, Tommy is the kind of a person who works in the background. He's not, he don't want to be no preacher. He's not no deacon and nothing like that. He is the kind of person, he's going to make sure that pastor needs something. He's going to make it happen for him. He's going to take care of the premises and stuff like that. He's just the pastor's right-hand guy. So one of the young men, Jesse, came to him and saying, you know what, you're in this season. He wanted to know more about his season of singleness and how he was clinging to God in certain ways and stuff like that. And so he decided to, just do a small group with him, and his brother was like, I want to in on it too. So it was Tommy, Jesse, and Reggie in this group, and they were talking about clinging to God and stuff like that. And they was like, hell no, other people need this and all this kind of stuff. And he's like, no, I'm not, that's not me. That's not me. Well, it got out. And then all of a sudden, Tommy is doing this series, a clinging series at church, and it was so good. It was so good. Giving people challenges and stuff. Like, I'm gonna, it's a little bit spoilery. One of the only reason I'm saying it is because actually on Kim's channel, she is doing a cling challenge. Her link to her channel is up here. The first thing that she talks about is talking to God daily, many times throughout the day, as if you're on the phone with your friend. You're paying the bill or whatever. Like, Lord, you know what? I got this bill to do. I thank you for this money, that I have to pay for this bill. Because, if you didn't give it to me, no way I wouldn't got it. I wouldn't have it to pay, that kind of thing. Just being mindful of him regardless of what the situation is. So that's what that challenge was about. Now back to the book. So he created this challenge, and honey, it went over so well with the congregants and other people that were listening in via the internet. Tommy has a BFF, Jillian. They've been best friends since college. And they have a beautiful relationship. Jillian is a widow. She lost her husband. I want to say, was it last book or the book before? But I think it was the last book. And they were moving to be closer to family. And all of a sudden, he got just boom, went down and shortly after passed away. and dealing with that. She had children, and all that kind of stuff. And she's at the point where time has passed, and a guy is showing interest in her, and she was like, I'm not trying to go through all that and that kind of stuff like that. And because she's not ready, and of course she doesn't only have herself to deal with, she has children that their feelings she have to take in account, of when she's thinking about getting back out there. So they're BFFs, and it was just so beautiful just seeing their relationship and how they support one another and stuff like that. I thought it was pretty cool. And it was beautiful how Kim wrote their storyline and stuff like that, because guys, sometimes God does call us into seasons, and Tommy was in a season of singleness, and then he was okay with it. He was okay with being single and not dating and stuff like that. But just because you're called into that season, it doesn't mean that it's permanent, honey. 'Cause I can flip stuff around just like that. So don't be surprised of God and his timing, okay? Because everything he does is perfect. So that was that about Tommy. The next person is Stephanie. Stephanie is my girl. I love Stephanie from the moment she wrote Stephanie's character, okay? Stephanie is a hoot. She is married to Lindell, and she is currently pregnant. Stephanie got needs, y'all. She don't understand why her husband and what's going on, where he at. And it was so beautiful how she wrote their relationship and how they were trying to fix this issue in their marriage. Other than that, their marriage is perfect. Stephanie runs a B&B, and of course, she's given all her time into this B&B. Her husband was a doctor who's no longer a doctor. And yeah, just like giving up your future, your career for one, health challenges, me, and for relationships and stuff like that. Are you strong enough to do that for one another? And it was perfect how that storyline was written. And then there was Little Miss Jade. Honey, I just wanted to get a switch off a tree and whack her hind parts, okay? Jade is a twin. Her twin is not Jessie. Her twin name is Jordan. She is dating a guy named Jesse, who Jesse is like, okay, we're not going to be kissing. We're not going to be hugged up and all that, cuddling and all that kind of stuff, because, that leads to wanting other things. And he wants this relationship to please God in every single way. Now, ladies, we should all want us a Jessie, okay? Okay. Little Miss Thing got herself done caught up in some mess. And having to deal with the consequences. That's all I'm going to say about that. And all throughout the movie, all throughout the book, there is a movie being made over at the Living Word Church, and is based off the Pastor Lance, his marriage with Kendra. And it was just beautiful because their marriage, or their wedding, I should say, their wedding was a big YouTube sensation and stuff like that. So it was good seeing that. It was emotional. Gosh, it was so emotional. And the last thing I want to talk about this book, one of the things that they touched on a lot is friendship. Friendship between a man and a woman. Is it possible? Yes, it is, especially only, not especially, only when you're having a relationship that is centered in Christ, in my opinion. Now, because first of all, there's not other guys that I want to talk to anyway like that. I mean, if I had friends in the past, I really don't got any kind of friends like that anyway. But, I would not put them, hold on here, wait 1 second. I would not put them in that, I wouldn't put myself in that situation. If he's not gonna be friends with my husband, he ain't gonna be friends with me, kind of thing. But having a relationship centered about Christ when you're of the opposite sex, is it possible? The answer is yes, but you must keep Christ centered, and it can't be, especially when you're not dating and stuff like that, or even when you are dating, you have to make sure that Christ is definitely the center of your relationship. So yeah, the book touched on that, and it was just beautifully written, and I was like, yes. So guys, do I recommend this series? Oh yeah, I do recommend it. A Time to Die by Nadine Brands. Guys, I really did like this book. I knew I was gonna like it. I already told you guys from the beginning, I had a feeling I was gonna like this book. This book takes place in the future, in the way future. And this future is, I want to say about like 100 and something plus years in the future. People are born and given a clock, and a clock tells your date of death. It tells you how long you have to live. Every person is given one. Actually, a woman is given two when she's born. So when she have children, she has their clock already set. Now, I didn't get who set the clocks and how the numbers came onto the clocks or whatever, but Parvin's mom had triplets. The government did not plan on women having more than twins. So guess what? One of her triplets had to die because he didn't born without a clock. Okay. So something happened, and her twin brother had been living illegally off of the same clock. Well, things can happen to you if you don't have a clock, or you're found to not have a clock, and they will consider you a radical, and they'll throw you through a wall or put you through this wall, and you had to fend for yourself, and no one has came back from the other side of this wall saying what they experienced. Well, Parvin's twin brother, his name is Reed. Now Reed knows that they're sharing this clock, and it's about to expire shortly after they turn 18. Now, somebody gotta die, okay? They don't know who clock it is. They don't even know who clock it is. And I'm like, okay, I'm sorry, I had to put some moisture on my lips. So they had to live all this life. Now, he wasn't wasting his time. He went out traveling. He went to see the world. He made new friends and stuff like that. Now, Parvin, on the other hand, that heifer just sat there in her room, wasting her time away. All of a sudden, she wanted to come up with a plan that she wanted to be remembered. Well, how was she going to be remembered? She's going to tell her story. She's going to write an autobiography. And she wanted to meet this author who does a really good job in, telling people's story. Well, auntie, it was so good. Oh, I wish I could tell y'all about this book. But, I'm telling you, it's crazy knowing that you are born with a clock. Now, God is our clock, okay? He is the giver and taker of life, and we are none the wiser of when our day is going to come or how it's going to end. They are given an opportunity to tell how they want their death to go, but that don't mean it's gonna happen. So I'm just looking because I'm sticking to the back of the back cover. She's banished through the wall, okay, to the wall, and she is determined by God's grace that she is going to survive. She is going to be the person to come back and tell of how life is on the other side of the wall. And her desire is to save other radicals like herself. So I highly recommend this book. I can't wait to read books number 2 and 3 of this series. And because I remember back in the video before, I didn't know what this number was. This is the actual, I don't know if you can see it. This is the actual the time on their clocks, which is really crazy. She had 364 days left, and this is down to the second, minute, hours, and days. That's how I go. So I was like, oh my gosh, it was really good. It was really, really good. But that is it for the books. Well, that was it, guys. I hope you enjoyed the vlogs. I'm not sure how I feel about continuing doing it in this style. I gotta, just use it up a little bit. I don't know what I'm gonna do as of yet. But yes, those were the books. I hope you enjoyed this video. Go ahead and like and share if you care to do so. Follow me over on Goodreads and Instagram, both at the handle Quilting Beauty and Books. Until the next video, guys, be blessed. Bye.